This is Morten from INKISH at Printing United here in Las Vegas, and I always get so surprised when I meet Americans that actually know about INKISH. So I mean, Edmond, it is great to see you.
Pleasure to have me. Thank you, sir.
I mean, the reason why I just go straight to that story is because to introduce yourself and your company and your history to me, you started talking about that you actually are you fourth or fifth generation?
I am fourth generation print finishing, absolutely.
And I mean, isn't it just amazing to think of that? You know what the passion that you have for your job and what you do has been carried in your veins through generations.
So my family are very passionate and really perfectionist. You know, when my dad came to America and started Crown, it was something that fed the family and took care of the family and his mother, his sisters, and we grew up in printing. As 8 years old, I'm in between the machines growing up and you know, running the machines, checking quality, things of that sort. So, you know, after being in the industry for so long, at about 28 years old, I realized I love what I do. I'm extremely passionate, but I'm getting burnt out. It's the same old printing, you know, nothing really wow that had me excited.
So let me interrupt you for a second, because what I like what you're saying is about that how passion drives you as a person.
Absolutely.
And I was just wondering, because I mean, if you run a business where you don't have a passion and it just becomes a commodity, you don't excel in things. And you said that what your opinion about maybe some of the printing companies in your areas maybe more like kind of old school things, or?
So, you know, being based in Houston, Texas, we have a stereotype of just, you know, basic blue collar printing. And it's great, you know, that's fantastic, but that's not for me.
Yeah, and that is exactly what I mean. So basically you had to reinvent your passion.
Absolutely.
And so was that like when you went into digital, or was there like steps in between? Or?
So we got introduced to Scodix technology back in 2019. And I still remember, I don't remember the exact day, but I remember how it made me feel. Okay, because we remember emotions more than we remember the other details. And it left a lasting impression on me. And so I held that emotion and I really started doing my research, and that's when I came across INKISH and a lot of research and things of that sort. So when I finally reached out to Scodix, I had a pretty good understanding of what the technology is, not so much how to run the machine. I'll be honest, when I was introduced to the Scodix at first, I was intimidated because I said, man, I don't know if I can run this. But you know, now that we've had it for almost 2 years, we make it sing. I mean, we love what we do on the Scodix. But I fell in love with it because of how it made me feel, and that's what I really wanted to fight for. I don't want to do printing where it's unemotions, ink on paper, or packaging and converting. I wanted something that matches the same energy that I give my clients and how I live my life.
So I was just thinking that if I interpret a little bit on what you say is that if you can bring the passion and the emotion from what you feel for a product to your customers, you can have essentially a very profitable niche, because you also operate in a market that is maybe not so competitive in this particular area.
I have never been the person that focuses on the profit.
But you need profit to pay for machines like this, of course,
but
right?
if you focus on the technology and the opportunity and accepting the change, the money will come. The money will always, if you chase money, then you will never be happy. But if you chase something bigger than money, which is...
It's perfection.
Perfection. And how it makes the customer feel and the quality that you're putting out, that is something that is more fulfilling in life. You can be the richest person in the world, but be the most emptiest person on the inside. But when you live a life that your work can show the quality and the passion that you have for it, the money will come. Absolutely.
I was just wondering, because I actually agree. I tell you that INKISH was founded on almost the same principles because, you know, we didn't want to have advertising, we didn't want to have all those kind of things. But it always, like, the reason I'm mentioning is because it took some time for our customers to understand what we're offering. So when you started with the Scodix, did it take time for your customers to realize the value that you offer to your customers?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first installed the Scodix in 2021, it was a majority, about 6 months of truly learning the machine, its capabilities, and understanding how everything works, okay? Once we passed that stage, the next thing was in 2022 is offering it to our clients and really pushing our limitation on what can be possible. Now that we've had a full year from 2022 now almost to 2023, we've learned so much and we continue to learn. You know, my father used to always tell me that no matter how many years you've been in printing, you're never going to stop learning. If you truly care and love what you do, you're going to constantly learn.
One thing is learning. I was just wondering because, you know, I would think that it could also be fun to see how much you can stress the machine to do, do beyond the standards. Is that something you also do? Or
we do, definitely. But like diamonds, it are only created when put under stress. So yeah, we experiment a lot. There's a piece that we did for a customer. Their client is they build cars. They build high-end sports cars. And they reached out to us and said, we are looking for something that looks like carbon fiber, to mimic carbon fiber. Man, I was a little uncertain at the time because I said, you know, let's try it out. The designer created the file. We did what we needed to do. We threw it on the Scodix. And that feeling when the first sheet came off the press, it is a reminder of why I do this every day and why I love it so much. And the client was absolutely in love with it. We ended up doing a carbon fiber raised UV, and then we also did a variable data silver foil stamp. Afterwards, die cutted it, and then that was the envelope for the actual invitation that goes inside. And you know, when we get projects like that push our limitations, it really wants us to keep doing more and more and more. And we don't know what the limits are yet.
I just want to understand a little bit. So your company, I mean, it says here Crown Embossing. But are you both a printer and a finisher?
No. So we are a trade finisher.
Yeah. So basically, the more conventional printers in Houston and in your area basically use you as a subcontractor for making the things shine, basically.
Absolutely. So before we got the Scodix, you know, we were a contractor. You know, clients want us to do die cutting, packaging, flat foil, combination foil, things of that sort.
So the analog and the traditional kind of thing.
Yes, the traditional that's been around for many, many years. So we pretty much are just now waiting for them to design it and send it to us. But ever since installing the Scodix, now we're more involved in the design part. We're not just a trade finisher anymore. We are actually involved in the designing. And now the designing companies, the ad agencies, the marketing firms, they're contacting us and saying, hey, what can we do with this graphics? What can we do? And I would say about almost 70 to 80% of the projects that we have in now, we're really just giving them our opinion and they love it and they run with it.
So just to finish off this interview here, I was just wondering, because when you come to a trade show like this and you're asked to give your opinion about your investments and that, how does that make you feel?
It feels amazing. You know, I've always been a person that has dreams and goals and accomplishments. And if you would have asked me 2 years ago that I'd be here right now having this interview with you, I wouldn't believe it, you know, because I've spent so much time seeing your videos and looking at the people that you've interviewed. The goal is high.
I think that is the more important thing, basically, because what we always try to is, show the possibilities, because when the day is over, even though you focus more on the product and the process rather than the profitability itself, it needs to pay the bills anyway.
Absolutely.
And it is a huge investment. And a very last question is I take it's worthwhile for many different reasons.
It's absolutely worthwhile. Again, I stress, you know, the money will come, but if you focus on the passion and giving your client a product that they've never, the feel and the look on the designers' faces and the printers when we give them the product, it's why we fell in love with printing. Okay, let's not forget why we fell in love with this. And that's what really helps me focus and stay on my road to success, is really taking care of my clients, giving them something that they could not get before, and the money will come. It always does. Thank you, sir. Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
That's my pleasure.
Yes, sir.